When I met Claire, I was 28 and still thought happiness was something you earned through effort. I had just opened my small graphic design studio, worked 12-hour days, and still managed to smile at strangers in coffee shops. She said she liked that about me, my optimism, my light. But as months turned into years, I realized she didn't love my light. She wanted to dim it. At first, it was subtle. If I laughed too loudly at something, she'd smile thinly and say, "You really think that's funny?" When I hummed while cooking, she'd sigh and ask me to keep it down. If I celebrated landing a new client, she'd tilt her head and mutter, "Must be nice having that much time for yourself." It wasn't anger, it was quieter, sharper. The kind of thing that seeps into your bones over time. Friends told me I was glowing when I first started dating her. A year later, they said I looked tired. I brushed it off. I said love takes work. I said she was just more private or not the social type. I kept explaining her behavior like it was my duty to defend it. But the truth was simple. Claire couldn't stand that I was happy without her permission. The breaking point came one Saturday morning. I was in the kitchen, making pancakes, music playing softly. She walked in wearing that silk robe she loved, her face blank. "Could you turn that off?" she asked. "It's just the radio," I said. "I know," she replied. "But it's too cheerful, too cheerful." Those words clung to me for days. What kind of person finds happiness offensive? I started paying attention then, really watching. I noticed how her eyes narrowed whenever someone complimented me. How she cut off conversations whenever people laughed at my jokes. She couldn't stand my joy unless it came from her approval. The day it all cracked open was during a friend's dinner party. My best friend, Mark, had just bought a new house and invited everyone over. There were 12 of us. Laughter, wine, music. And for once, I felt like myself again. Claire sat beside me, quiet, watching. I told a story about how a client once mixed up fonts and accidentally sent a company logo to print with a curse word hidden inside. Everyone roared. I laughed too. But when I looked at Claire, she wasn't smiling. That night, as we got into the car, she said, "You love being the center of attention, don't you?" "It was just a story," I replied. "You looked so proud of yourself." "It's embarrassing." Something inside me shifted. I didn't argue. I just watched her as she spoke, realizing for the first time how much she hated seeing me happy. It wasn't jealousy, it was resentment. She resented that I didn't need her to feel alive. Over the next few weeks, she grew colder. The laughter in our home died completely. I'd come back from work, smiling, and she'd greet me with silence. If I asked what was wrong, she'd shrug. Nothing. Always nothing. But that nothing started feeling like everything. Then came the message. A text from Mark's wife, Julia. She said she wanted to tell me something privately. I agreed to meet her at a small cafe downtown. Her hands trembled when she spoke. She told me that during the dinner party, Claire had whispered to her that she felt sorry for me, that I pretended to be happy because I was emotionally weak. Julia said she didn't believe her, but she thought I should know. I remember sitting there, coffee untouched, every word echoing. Claire wasn't just uncomfortable with my happiness. She was actively poisoning it, even in front of others. That night, I didn't confront her. I watched her instead. She laughed at a TV show like nothing had happened, her legs folded neatly under a blanket. I realized then, she wasn't going to stop until my happiness looked like hers. Cautious, filtered, and fragile. I decided I wasn't going to let that happen. The next morning, I woke up before her and sat on the balcony, watching the pale light spill across the city. My coffee had gone cold by the time I finally admitted the truth to myself. Claire didn't want a partner. She wanted control. And for years, I'd given it to her by shrinking my own joy. That realization burned through me like sunrise after a long winter. I decided I wouldn't confront her in private. She'd twist the words, make herself the victim. No, this time, I'd let the truth breathe in front of everyone she'd fooled. A week later, Mark invited us all to another gathering, a casual get-together at his house. Claire wanted to skip it, said she was tired, but I insisted. She sighed and came along, unaware that I had a plan. The evening unfolded just like before. Soft music, laughter, stories floating through the room. I played it cool, staying quiet at first. Claire seemed relaxed, sipping her wine, leaning into conversations, pretending to be the kind and composed woman everyone thought she was. Then, midway through dinner, Julia asked me how business was going. "It's been great," I said, smiling. "Actually, I've been happier lately than I've been in years." Claire looked up. I saw it, that flicker of irritation in her eyes, the quick shift in posture. She tried to hide it, but everyone saw the tension. Mark chuckled. "That's good, man. Always nice to hear someone's doing well." Claire placed her glass down a bit too hard. "He's just being modest," she said lightly. "He loves telling everyone how great his life is. It's adorable." There it was, the quiet dagger wrapped in charm. Everyone laughed awkwardly, but I didn't. I met her gaze and, for the first time, didn't look away. "Actually," I said evenly, "that's not true. I don't love talking about my happiness. I used to avoid it because someone I loved made me feel guilty for having it." The room fell silent. Claire froze. Her smile twitched, confusion flashing across her face. "What are you talking about?" she said, her tone brittle. I leaned back in my chair. "You know exactly what I'm talking about. For years, you've told me I was too loud when I laughed, too proud when I succeeded, too cheerful when things went right. You made my happiness feel like an inconvenience." Her lips parted, but no sound came. Everyone's eyes darted between us. "And the funny thing," I continued, "is that I believed it was my fault. I thought maybe I was too much. But then I realized, you just couldn't stand to see someone happy when you weren't." A quiet exhale moved through the table. Claire's expression hardened. "You're humiliating me," she whispered. "No," I said softly. "I'm freeing myself." For a long moment no one spoke. Then Julia, steady calm, said, "Good for you, Ryan." Her voice broke the silence. Mark nodded. "About time, man." One by one, a few others murmured words of support. Someone clapped, maybe out of relief, maybe out of recognition. And just like that, the air shifted. Claire looked around, searching for sympathy that wasn't there. Her face turned pale. She stood up abruptly, grabbed her purse, and left without another word. The door shut behind her, the echo sharp and final. I didn't chase her. I stayed seated, staring at the spot she'd been, feeling a strange lightness spread through my chest. Not triumph, not revenge, just release. Mark poured me another drink. "You okay?" he asked. I smiled. "Yeah," I said quietly. "For the first time in a long time, I am." The night carried on after that. Laughter slowly returning, genuine and unfiltered. I didn't tell anyone more than what I'd already said. I didn't need to. They understood. People who've known quiet manipulation recognize it instantly once it's named. When I got home later, the apartment was dark. Her things were gone. Clothes, perfume bottles, that silk robe she loved. I sat on the couch and looked at the space she used to occupy. For the first time, it didn't feel empty. Felt honest. Weeks passed and friends kept checking in. I told them I was fine. I told them the truth, that I was learning how to be happy again. Not because I'd lost her, but because I'd finally stopped apologizing for my own joy. The funny thing about light is that it doesn't beg to be accepted. It just shines. And once you stop dimming it for someone who fears it, the world around you starts to see it too. They applauded that night because they recognized courage, not loud, heroic courage, but the quiet kind that says, "Enough." And that was the moment I knew. I'd never let anyone take that light from me again.